Hello, guys. You're watching Conversations with AnouMe. And today's topic comes in the form of a question from Fuji Matani. Hi, Fuji. And thank you for the question. And it goes like this: how to keep momentum. How I used to have high highs and then low lows. I think I'm more balanced now. But how do you keep your momentum going when you have a surge of energy and high vibration? What do you do?
It's an interesting question. And I've got two questions to ask you back, Pooji. So what is your definition of balance? What does your new balance look like? And how do you kind of maintain that new balance? Then also have a look at, when you're in your new balance state, what causes the rush of the high, the high bit that you kind of mentioned at the end. Because the way that I look at the whole situation is that, and I've been there. I used to be someone that used to be down here, and then I used to shoot up and then go back down and then back up again. And the truth is, the low lows feed the high highs, and the high highs feed the low lows. So without the lows, there are no highs. And without the highs, there are no lows. So it sounds like towards the end of the question, what you're asking, there's slight fear there of dropping back into your low now that you found a way of sustaining a fairly high vibrational state, for example. Okay. And one thing I've noticed, that's why I asked you in terms of the question, is like, what does your new balance state look like? Because the reason why is that sometimes when we have been in the pattern of the low lows and the high highs, we find a way of making the high highs last a little bit longer, right? But there's a little bit of fear, like we're gonna drop back down. When you're more balanced, what a balanced state looks like is that still a little bit of a fluctuation. So some days will be better than others, some days will not be so great, and it's more balanced this way. And so when you're in that state, you're never afraid of dropping or sustaining your vibration. You know that there is a movement to your vibration, and you know that it's higher than the lower state, right? But it may not be at the highest state, right? What happens over time is that you can increase that, but it'll still fluctuate, but you can raise your vibration in that sense. But when you are truly balanced, there's no fear of dropping, there's no fear of sustaining that high vibrational energy, knowing that you can make tweaks along the way and you can raise it. So you can almost like go up like this if you really wanted to in a more balanced state. Because it's always going to be this kind of fluctuation, but it's not going to be like this. Yeah. So does that make sense? I mean, do you have any questions that you want to kind of pull out or?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. And it makes me thank you, Fuji, for the question, actually, because it resonates as well. But it also makes me think, why do we fear of low lows? Is there another way to approach the low lows?
I think sometimes we fear the low lows because I've been there, so it feels like you're completely and utterly helpless. There's nothing that you can do right. There's nothing, everything's happening to you. Everything's really, really bad. And it's almost like you can't even get yourself up. You're flattened against the floor and you can't get yourself up. So once you have got yourself up and you're at the high highs, you never want to drop back down.
Is there a way to avoid them completely? That's what I mean. Well,
so to avoid it completely is to create a brand new pattern. So you have to let go of the high highs as well to create a brand new pattern, because the low coexists with the high highs. Does that make sense?
Correct, yeah.
So if you want to get rid of the lows, you need to create something that's a little bit more stable, so you won't get the euphoric highs. Yeah, but you also get the lows. However, over time you can build. So like you come here and it fluctuates over time. You can change it, and you can move more into a, but those things sometimes take time because you're breaking an old pattern of, you know, jumping from the lows to the high, and knowing that the lows feed the highs and the highs feed the low, you know. But when you're more sustainable like this, there's no fear of it, but you still.
And if I'm sort of to connect with just that experience of the way it feels, I don't know if that's what Fuji also thought about, like, or meant. It's like, I feel like the high highs and the low lows are also very emotionally or energy kind of draining on me, because it's actually like a roller coaster. So you're like up and down, and on long run it's tiring. So
and sometimes
on a personal level,
it's easy for me to say change your pattern and become more stable, but it's not as easy as it sounds, because sometimes we've been doing it for so many years. That's all we know, and it may run in our family as well. So therefore, we don't know how to go about creating a more steady pattern, because to be able to do that, we have to lose the benefits that we get in the low lows, which may be that people come and take care of us and nurture us and love us and etc., etc., etc. And then we have to get rid of the benefits that we get when we're in the high state, which is that the overexcited feeling, oh my God, life is wonderful, etc., etc., etc. And then you come to when you kind of change that or create a brand new behavior belief, it's a lot more stable. There is none of those two things will exist in this new state. However, you can then create a state where, you know, you then start to feel great all the time without, you know, and some days you do feel a little bit low, but you know that within a couple of hours you can be okay again. It's a really difficult, we all have emotional roller coasters, and I think it's a choice again. And sometimes it's also a habit. So that's what we know and that's what we do. And you're right, it is draining. And having been someone that used to do that, it's absolutely draining. So it's for me, from a personal perspective, it's much more healthy to have more of a balance. But again, to create that, I had to let go of needing people coming up to me and making me feel good about myself, as well as the high highs when, you know, something amazing happen, and then I'll just, you know, the ecstatic kind of thing. But right now, I mean, it's incredible, because maybe I started off and the balance was a bit like this, but now it's a little bit more level, but it does kind of escalate to that. It'll never be the high highs, but it's pretty good. I can't like, I can't find the words to kind of explain it. All I know is it's to break a pattern.
Thank you. And well, Fuji, I hope this answers your question, at least to some extent. Thank you for the question as well. And thank you guys for watching. And as always, you can submit your own as well here in the link below. Bye-bye.
Bye guys, and thanks Fuji.